Hey everyone, welcome to today's workshop. I think I was calling it a webinar, but it's really a workshop we're going to go over the Instagram challenge, the special program that Panoply is running in the month of April. And we're going to talk about Panoply, just do a quick overview. I promise it's not a sales pitch, it's just showing you kind of what Panoply is and how you can use us, and then how you can participate in our Instagram data challenge. My name is Jason, I'm the head evangelist here at Panoply, and I'm joined by Skylar. So hello, you can't see us, but we are waving into our screens, and we hope that you're having a good day. One thing that we will note that this webinar is being recorded. This workshop is being recorded. If you want to play it back later, or if you would like to share it with a friend, we are more than happy to make that recording available to you. And then just a little housekeeping item, you can ask questions at any time. GoToWebinar has this really great questions tab on the right-hand side in your GoToWebinar. You can go ahead and ask questions at any time. If it's something that we can answer right away, I'll definitely pose it to myself or Skylar, or we also have a dedicated question and answer period at the end. And then if for some reason you have a question that is not during this live workshop, we have a special category on our community, on the Panoply community, which is located at community.panoply.io. We have a special category just for the challenge. So you can ask a question there, and likely Skylar or myself will be the one to answer it. So you have lots of access to us, and we're super excited to help you get started and answer any questions you have related to how to use Panoply, how to use the data warehouse, or how to get going and the nuts and bolts regarding this Instagram data challenge. So these are the two handsome gentlemen that are talking at you today. Skylar Shasky is a data architect here at Panoply, and then I am an evangelist. And we, so just to give you a little background on our roles, Skylar is a data architect. He helps people, customers get up to speed on Panoply and make sure that their queries are running successfully, answer any question as technical as it needs to be sure that they are successful in Panoply. I am the evangelist, and so I head up communications, and I get to do workshops and run challenges like this. So it's my job to help get the word out about Panoply, and it's Skylar's job to make sure that people are successful and happy with Panoply. Let's talk about Panoply real quick. What is Panoply and what is a data warehouse? Basically, in essence, a data warehouse is a cloud-based, so it's in the cloud. It's not on your site. It's a cloud-based database. I call it a database of databases. It's something that is in the cloud, and you can connect up to or as many data sources as you want. What is really awesome about Panoply is that we're very easy to use. You can literally go to start a trial, generate your data warehouse, connect your data sources, and be up and running in as little as 10 minutes and being able to query data. We are an all-in-one tool, so we handle all the data collection, we handle data management, and we also have some really awesome machine learning and AI algorithms that are making sure that your queries run optimally. You can connect any business intelligence tool to us, whether you're familiar with Tableau or Looker or Chartio or Mode or of the SQL workbenches. We are the layer underneath the business intelligence tool or data visualization tool that makes those tools run very, very, very fast. And we're built for growth. So we are specifically designed for small teams with big data needs. It doesn't matter if you're a startup, if you're a small or medium-sized business, or even enterprise. We are built for you and priced aggressively for you. So if you're a small business and you want to track customer lifecycle, if you want to see how ads are performing across social networks, those are some of the use cases that people use us for, and we'll dig into some of those as we go in. And then in terms of a data warehouse is nothing if you don't have data being brought into the data warehouse so that you can, paint a picture of your customers and how they're touching your business and how your efforts are successful. So it doesn't matter if it's an API. So you can see there's a lot of logos on this page. We integrate with everything from Google Analytics to Facebook ads to Bing ads to Mongo to Elastic to Microsoft SQL Server. We connect to it all. We also can connect to files. So if you have a CSV that you want to bring into your warehouse and run queries off of your CSV, say it's some sort of marketing experiment that you did, then it was just like a limited duration trial or something you were doing, and you want to bring that data in and load it alongside your Google Analytics data to see kind of how that marketing experiment led to people coming to your website, we can do that. And then also we have an SDK if you would like to integrate with that as well, if you're more of a technical person. So again, we are an all-in-one data warehouse. We have all those data integrations that you saw on the prior page. You don't have to manage you don't have to manage your warehouse at all. We are automatically optimizing your storage and your query speed to make sure that your time to insights is fast as possible. So let's talk a little bit about the Instagram challenge. Why did we open this up? We opened it up because we announced Instagram as a data connector back in January, and we wanted to do something really fun and really innovative to get people excited about bringing Instagram data into a warehouse so that you can build insights off of your Instagram data. There is a lot of data out there. If you're active on Instagram, whether you're active as a brand or as a user, just as a regular Instagram person, there's so much data about all the things that you submit. So whether it's your most actively used filter, your most actively engaged participant, the best time of day for you to post, all those little insights are waiting for you inside your Instagram data. And we wanted to make it so that you can bring in your Instagram data and see, kind of peek under the hood. And what's really awesome is that not only did we announce Instagram back in January, we also announced YouTube, and so you can also run. So if you say you're a social media marketing manager, you can now look at your Facebook data alongside your Twitter data, alongside LinkedIn, alongside Google Analytics, and see how all these data points are making your business successful or not successful. You can fix that. So what is really cool about the challenge that we've built is that it's very, very easy to participate. There's 3 steps. One is collecting your Instagram data. So when you start your Panoply data warehouse, and Skylar is going to walk us through all that later in just a few minutes, so you'll see it. So you're going to leave this webinar pretty well equipped to go and get started with your Instagram data. So you start your Panoply account, you collect the Instagram data. So you'll notice inside Panoply, you can either connect your own data, your own Instagram data, and that's just a matter of putting in your Instagram username and password, and then we automatically bring that data in. Also, we have made arrangements so that we have some fun Instagram data sets for you to try. So we have 2 different Instagram data sets that you can try. One is that of an Instagram influencer named Kirsten Alana, who has been amazing and allowed us to get access to her data. And then also we have teamed up with a brand called Shinesty, who's actually a Panoply customer, who has said, we would like to make our data available and allow all the data analysts, data nerds around the world to feed us their insights. So to participate in the Instagram data challenge, collect the Instagram data, connect your insight or business intelligence tool, and you can use any one of our partners. I list a few on here. So we have Chartio, we have Tableau, we have Power BI, we have Mode. You can use any of those tools to submit your entry on the community, and there are 3 categories that I'll go over in just a second. But there are 3 categories that you can win, and we have $1,000 Amazon gift cards going, or 1,000 US dollars, that is. We have $1,000 prizes that are going to go to the winners of each of those categories. And then to be considered for that, for the challenge, so step 3 is all you have to do is submit. So go to the community and submit either your visualization or your insight, and we will take it from there. You have the month of April to do it. The sooner the better, because we'd love to see what you're thinking and see what you submit. So in terms of that sample Instagram data, again, we've developed 2 sets of Instagram data. One is the brand data. So there's a quirky brand called Shinesty. They sell apparel and goods. Basically, if you want to stand out at a party and you want to show everyone you know how to have a good time, Shinesty is your jam. They have kimonos, they have hats, they have amazing swimwear. But what they also have is they have 88,000 followers on Instagram and tons of interactions. So it's a very active data set on the brand side for you to check out. And then on the right-hand side, you'll see my friend Kirsten Alana, who is an amazing travel and first and foremost, she's a photographer, but she's also a travel influencer and a digital marketer. She has close to 250,000 followers on Instagram, and she has some amazing photos and some amazing interactions, and she has worked with many brands, including travel brands, car brands, goods like products and that sort of thing. And I actually met her when I used to work at Nokia. She was one of our Nokia photo influencers. So we have two really fun Instagram data sets. Skylar in a second is going to show us how to like bring that data into your Panoply data warehouse so that you can query it and do some really cool things. And what's really great is, as we alluded to earlier, is that you can use any data tool you want. So it could be Mode, it could be Sisense, it could be Click. This is actually a screenshot off of our integrations page. So if you want to go and see all the integrations that we have and all the business intelligence tools and visualization tools that we work with, feel free to go to panoply.io/integrations, and you can see all of our companies and partners that we play well with. So with that, I will turn it over to Skylar, and he's going to walk through how to get started with Panoply, how to bring in the data, and then he's going to connect Chartio and do some really fun, just kind of entry-level visualization so that you can kind of get familiar with the data set. So
Great.
bear with me, Skylar. I'm going to make you the presenter. So just one sec.
Perfect. Thanks, Jason.
All right, it's all you.
So let's see, I'm sharing my screen now. Are we able to see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Great. Well, thanks again, Jason. I'm really excited to be talking to everybody today about the Panoply Instagram challenge. I think it's a really good use case for our platform, and definitely an exciting challenge. We love analytics, we love data insights and visualization. So I know from our end we're really excited, and I hope you are too. So what I'm going to do now is give just a super brief walkthrough of Panoply, kind of focusing on the Instagram data sets themselves and how to connect those into a Panoply account so that you can do your analysis. And then I will briefly touch on the analysis side. So I'm going to connect Chartio, which is a great BI tool that we actually use internally. So I'm going to connect Chartio to Panoply just to show you kind of what that process might look like. Every tool is going to be fairly similar. So even if you're using another BI tool or another analysis tool of some sort, it should give you at least an idea of the types of actions you'll want to take. And then, yeah, I'll briefly create a couple of simple visualizations, and we'll go from there. So where I am right now, I'm on the Panoply landing page. Panoply.io is our website. I just do want to point out that if you don't have a Panoply account yet, you can try it for free. In my case, I'm going to log in here because I already have an account, but if you need to sign up, just click the sign up tab. So going ahead, putting in my credentials here.
Hey, while you do that, Skylar, let me just chime in real quick. We do have a landing page, a homepage for our challenge. And we would love it if you're going to do the challenge and you're going to create a database on Panoply, or sorry, a data warehouse with Panoply. Do go and register just your name. It's all we ask for is your name and your email so that we can keep track of those who have registered, because we have some emails that we're sending out, some helpful tips, and when we do get some fun submissions, we're going to be kind of emailing those out. So we're turning this challenge into kind of its own little community of people who are excited about data. We promise not to pitch you. We're not gonna try to sell you anything, but do go ahead when you rather than just diving into creating a Panoply account, do us a favor and go register on our landing page. And if you just go to panoply.io, you'll see the challenge page there, or you can also Google Panoply Instagram challenge.
Perfect. Makes a lot of sense. Thanks, Jason. So continuing on here, so I just logged into Panoply and I clicked on data sources. So as Jason was alluding to, Panoply is a managed data warehouse, but we also have built-in ETL. So the data sources page is where you can set up various data connections to the APIs, databases, et cetera, that we support. This is my personal account. I've set up a number of different connections here as part of my efforts, but I'll focus on the S3 connections here that I've set up for the Instagram challenge. Before I do that, I do just want to show you quickly what the menu looks like. So if you want to add a new data source of any type, really, click the Add Data Source button, and this menu will populate, which has some different categories over here, and then data sources on the right-hand side. So, as I mentioned, we connect to a number of databases. We connect to various files and services, which also includes Amazon S3 cloud storage, which is what we're leveraging for the Instagram challenge. And then we do connect to a number of APIs natively, as Jason was alluding to. So various applications here, kind of across sales, marketing, social media. Obviously, Instagram is one of our newer ones that we're really excited about. But given the fact that our partners in this, Shinesty and Kirsten, did not want to give out their actual credentials to Instagram, we are housing the data within a read-only S3 bucket for you to access. And I'll scroll down here to the connections that I've set up to show you just exactly how you can pull that data into the Panoply account to analyze. So here's the one that I've set up for Kirsten Elena's account here. So if I click in, I'm going to see that basically it's just asking me for the address of the data set here. So, if you put in s3://panoply-instagram-challenge, you'll be able to get access to the S3 folder where we have housed all of this data. We have both accounts data in this folder. So Kirsten Elena's tables are all in here, and then the Shinesty tables are in here as well. One important thing to point out is that I've set up 2 different connections, one for each account. You don't necessarily have to do it that way, but for me, it was a little bit easier to just set up a custom destination in Panoply where I'm taking this as a prefix and then this as a dynamic suffix depending on the table name. And so every table that gets ingested is going to have this prefix that comes from this source. So given the fact that I only selected the Kirsten Elena tables and I'm put this in my destination, it's going to make it really easy for me to be able to tell that this particular data is related to her account. One other thing to point out is the files themselves in S3, they do have a pipe delimiter. So when you're setting up the S3 connection here, you're going to want to go into the advanced options, click on the delimiter, and just make sure that you set that as the pipe delimiter, right? So it is a challenge after all. We have to, give you a step or two. Can't make it too easy. So definitely make sure to put that pipe delimiter in, select the tables that you want, and you'll be off to the races. I know you're probably noticing that there's many different tables within this, which is great. There's many avenues of analysis that you can take. I do want to mention that within our website, within our documentation, we call out the schema of the Instagram data specifically. So there's a page where you can go and see basically, what data is housed within each table and better understand the Instagram data there if you do have questions. But then, once you've gotten to this point and you've selected the tables you want, you've set up your destination, you set up your delimiter, at that point, really all you have to do is collect. And, Panoply's magic is going to go to work. We are going to pull in that data, recognize the delimiter, layer it into tables within our data warehouse environment for you, very easily there. And as that's happening, if you want to track the progress, you can come to this jobs screen within Panoply. So you can see I set up my collections for this a day or two ago. And really, if the system's in the process of collecting data, you'll be able to see that, the status icon will be yellow, meaning that the source is running. At this point, it's green, meaning that it succeeded. But if you set up a collection, you're wondering like, hey, where's my data? Just want to make you aware that this job screen is going to be the area that you can come to see, exactly what's happening. And I will just briefly mention for existing Panoply clients, they may have hundreds of data source connectors set up that are running on a regular basis that are scheduled, and they want a central window into what's occurring within their data warehouse. That's another great use case for this page. And you can click into any of these and see some details about, when a job was started or when it ended. So just wanted to point that out so you're aware. But then I think, one of the more important screens here for you will be our table screen. So once the data has actually loaded into Panoply, it's going to be layered into tables, of course. And within this table screen, you'll be able to get a summary view of all the tables that exist within your account. I can search. So if I want to just go to any tables with Shinesty as a prefix, I can type in Shinesty and I see I have 31 Instagram Shinesty tables, kind of running the gamut of captions, media, photo, a good variety of things to look into there. You can also click into tables. So if I click on, Instagram media, for example, I can see a preview of the actual data contained within, things like filters, comment counts, likes count, some good information there. Panoply also explicitly calls out the metadata here for you. So things like data types and field names. And then these connection details are going to be really important to everyone taking part in the challenge. Excuse me. So these connection details, which can also be accessed via this connect button within our panel, same details there. Those are essentially your key to connect any type of third-party tool to do analysis or visualization. So that could be, BI tools, dashboarding tools. It could be a SQL workbench if you're looking to do particular types of querying on your data. It could even be, I wrote a blog post recently about connecting R to our environment for machine learning applications. So, Python or R, if you want to do some, really cool machine learning types of things, there are libraries for both of those languages that will support a connection to Panoply. And I will just point out that in most cases, you're going to be using either a Redshift or a Postgres driver to connect to Panoply. Generally, Redshift will work best.
Hey, Skylar, a couple tips.
Yep.
One thing I was confused about when I first got started was when you're bringing the data in from our little file share, which is, we call it S3, into your Panoply. So say you're bringing Kirsten's data into your warehouse so that you can query it. You don't have to leave that window open. So if for some reason you have to close your browser or go grab a cup of coffee or go to lunch, you can do that. It'll run in the background, so don't worry about that. And then another tip is that we have a whole blog post that was published last Thursday on the Panoply blog that has some insights. If you just want some starters of things you can look at in the Instagram data, like engagement rates, just some interesting stuff. All the SQL code is there. And then one thing we are asking is when you do your submission to the community, when you're submitting your insight or your visualization, we are asking that you post your SQL code there so that everyone can learn from each other. So be sure to check out the samples is what I'm saying on the blog, and also check out in the community. Trevor, who's our colleague at Panoply, yesterday posted a really cool thing to the community where he was giving some insights and stuff. So if you just want something you're curious about what the data holds, you can see the work that other people have done to kind of jog your curiosity.
That's great. That's great. Thanks. Perfect. So we talked about connecting external tools to Panoply for visualization, machine learning, querying, etc. I do want to point out one pretty cool piece of functionality that Panoply offers. So if I go back to my table screen and I navigate to the very end of it, I will see that I have, these are all tables here with this document icon, and then these things down here with the magnifying glass icon, these are views. So I like to point out views because Panoply does offer a fully functional transformation layer that is entirely housed within our environment. So if you wanted to do some transformations on the data before you serve them up to a BI tool as part of the challenge and as part of your analysis, you could write a quick query to generate a view and then reference that view from your BI tool. So if I go back to, let's go to Kirsten Elena's, one of her tables here, and I can either click query or click analyze, and it will take me to the exact same page, which is just a lightweight SQL workbench that we have built into the Panoply platform here. So within it, I can do some very simple types of querying. If I just want to know, for example, what's the count within this table, I can run that query, and I see, okay, there's 1,419 records. Great. But if I wanted to do some sort of transformation, let's say I wanted to join a couple tables together, or I wanted to filter based on some sort of criteria, I can write a query that does that, and then I can save that query. So I can save the query as whatever I would like. Then if I went back to my table screen, I'd be able to see that saved query essentially generated as a view, and I can reference that view from any external tool that I'm using. So just like to point that out as part of kind of your workflow when you're thinking about this challenge, if you wanted to perhaps transform data before it lands on the BI or visualization side, that's a a really easy thing to do with Panoply. So I think I've given a good enough overview of the Panoply platform for now for these purposes. So what I'm going to do now is show everybody how to connect an external tool to Panoply. So I'm going to click into Chartio, and I'm going to add a new data source. So in our case, Chartio has Panoply listed as a data source. I will say not every tool has Panoply listed. So in certain cases, you may be looking for like Redshift, for example. Just a little insight into Panoply. The way our essentially architecture works is our underlying data warehouse infrastructure is Redshift. But obviously we have a lot of stuff built around that, and a lot of things that improve upon just that regular Redshift environment. But yeah, so I click Panoply. Basically, I'm going to put in some information about my account. So it automatically recognizes that the host name is db.panoply.io. That's great. The port is 5439. I'm going to put in my password real quick. And then my database name is Skylar. And I click connect. Oh, whoops, and I have to name it, obviously. So let's do, Skylar Instagram Challenge Webinar and connect. So now Chartio is pointing at Panoply, analyzing my data. Great, it sees I have 108 tables in my account. It even calls out the number of columns. That's awesome. So I click apply. And I've added a data source. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is create a dashboard based off of this data source. So I'm going to click dashboards. I'm going to click new dashboard. I'm going to put it in my personal sandbox account. Let's call it data challenge webinar. Create. And now we are in an empty Chartio dashboard, ready to go. We have the data source connected. And at this point, I'm going to add a chart into my dashboard. So if I go to the one that we just created, the Instagram challenge webinar, I see all of the various tables that are in my account. I have some additional tables outside of the Instagram data from various things I've been testing. But the great thing is, I see the Shinesty data, I see the Kirsten Elena data, and I'm free to go in whatever direction I want here. So let's analyze Kirsten's data first. And this media table has some pretty cool information in it that I'd maybe want to take a look at here. So I know we were talking about something Jason mentioned, like analyzing filters and the effect that they may have on your Instagram, which filters are most successful, or which seem to be the most popular with your users. So I think that'd be a really cool thing to analyze. So what I'm going to do is pull out that filter dimension and place it into the dimensions panel here within Chartio. And then I want to see how many likes each filter is getting. So total sum of likes. I think that sounds pretty reasonable. And this is currently sorting by the filter. I do not want to sort by the filter. I would rather sort by the likes count. I want to sort that descending. And let's go ahead and run that query, see what happens. Cool. So now in Chartio, I have a table that is showing the results of that query. And if you're not familiar with Chartio, so it has this kind of interactive query builder, but it also has just a pure SQL mode. So as you're creating your query via that interactive mode, you can pop over to the SQL, and if you want to just write the query yourself, you can absolutely do that. You can see what's going on here. So this is showing me the results. I see, okay, there's 34 different filters, it appears. Normal is by far the most popular filter. Probably makes sense. You know, a lot of people, as much as we like filters, I'd say the majority of our posts do not have filters, but I guess that depends on the person. And then, you know, I see this descending list of some of the other various filters that Instagram has. You know, let's say I don't care too much about the normal filter. I don't really think that's interesting. One thing that I can do is pull in filter as a filter. So I can say the filter is not going to be equal to normal. Click OK. Run the query. And boom, filter's gone. And you know what? I don't really like the fact that this is in a table. I would rather see a visual representation. So I'm going to click the bar chart. And wow, okay, now I see a little bit different of a view here. It gives me a good visual representation of the filters and the total likes that we're seeing. So, okay, Clarendon is, you know, a really good filter apparently. Gingham is a close second there. And then we have some filters which appear to have barely ever been used. Obviously, you may be thinking, hey, who cares about total likes? I want to know likes per post or likes per user or something different, you know, a different type of metric. That's absolutely great. I'm probably going to take a pause here just as a really good introductory visualization. But, you know, that's where I want your all's creativity to come in. I know you probably have some amazing ideas about how to analyze this data. So let's go ahead and put this kind of simple bar chart here into our dashboard. So Kirsten, Elena, filters. So I can save that chart. And now I can place it into my dashboard within Chartio. So the really cool thing about dashboards in Chartio is I can create as many visualizations of these like this as I want. So, you know, I could very easily, I created one for Kirsten and Elena just now, but I could go back and just add another chart and do the exact same thing for Shinesty and compare them, or I could go in a completely different direction, you know, and have multiple different types of visualizations here. So, you know, honestly, I hope that was a good overview of, you know, first of all, how to bring in the Instagram challenge data into Panoply, how to maneuver around Panoply and perhaps even manipulate data a little bit via views within the Panoply environment, and then how to connect an external tool to Panoply and start to create some visualizations. So I think that's where I'll take a pause, and, you know, Jason, if you want to jump in with any final thoughts or if there's questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Awesome, thanks, Skylar. Yeah, so like we hope that this webinar, or sorry, this workshop piqued your interest on what you can accomplish. So what we are going to do is we're actually going to have a session with Kirsten on Monday, and we're going to ask Kirsten what she would like to know from her Instagram data as an influencer. So some, you know, and we all know full and well that while Kirsten is amazing as a content producer and as a photographer, she's not necessarily a data nerd on the phone that she has requests that just aren't possible with the data, but we're hoping that amongst all the tables and all the data types that there's you know some good stuff in there. And then we're going to get a brand, and then on the other side, the next week, we're going to get a brand to come on the line and express their wish list of data that they would like to know about. So we're really looking forward to making this a fun little experiment to see what we can do with Instagram data. I do have a question for you, Skylar. Do we have, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but do we have any customers that are actively using the Instagram Instagram capability in Panoply, and what kind of insights are they drawing? I know of one that Shinesty told me about, but I'd love to hear if you know of anything from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, apologies off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time recalling any in particular. You know, I think it's kind of been one of those things where the integration has worked really well and our customers have been off to the races. So myself, as one of our support team members. I actually haven't been too involved, which is in a way a good thing, right? But I know it's been a successful integration for at least a handful of customers, and they've definitely been getting some cool insights. But unfortunately, I do not have specifics
Okay.
top of mind.
Okay, I know that Shinesty told me that they are using Instagram analytics alongside Twitter and Facebook, and they know based on the time of day, if they put an ad out on a certain network, depending on the network, a certain time of day, certain channel, Instagram being one of them, they know what type of customers they're most likely to get, and the LTV or the long-term value of that client. So they know, like, if they put out an image of a I'm just going to make something up. If they put out an image of a 20-something in a kimono at 5 o'clock on a Thursday, they know that they're going to convert, a certain demographic and a certain and gender. They can even get it down to gender by tracking the data, the Instagram data, and then combining it with their Salesforce data, which is really, really cool. So awesome. I'm looking in our questions. I don't see any live questions. So what we'll do is we'll take this opportunity to close. Actually, let me open it up. If you have any questions, let's wait about 30 seconds to see if any come in, and I will kind of wrap things up by saying, do us a favor, go, if you haven't already, go and register for the challenge, start a Panoply database, connect some Instagram data, and then go to the community and join our discussion. So Trevor already published a post yesterday, and we look forward to seeing more. So we do have a handful of people who have signed up for the webinar, a few dozen, and so we would love to have those people who have signed up for the challenge. And so roll up your sleeves, get familiar with the data, and let's see what you got. We're super excited to see what the categories. Oh, that's actually one thing I forgot to mention, is the categories that we are going to be awarding. So we have 3 categories. Each of them have their own $1,000 prize, which is an Amazon gift card. The first category is the prettiest visualization and most informative visualization. So it's a combination of we want a beautiful visualization, but we also want something that's super informative. And then that's the first category. And then the second category is most interesting insight. And then the third is people's choice. So we're actually going to take all the submissions, boil it down to the top 20, and then put those up for voting. And that way the public can vote via secure means on what they think is the best. So with that, we're super excited to see what you produce. Join us on the community. Skylar and I will be there to answer your questions. I don't see any questions on GoToWebinar, so Skylar, I'll take this opportunity to thank you for joining us. Thank you to our attendees that have been on the line, and we look forward to seeing the challenge progress as the month of April rolls on. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Good luck.